down to this, folks. One game to rule it all. The first bit of silverware in England is on the line. That's right. Will it be Newcastle? Will it be Liverpool? We're going to get into it next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video today. It's all about the Carabao Cup. That's right, it's the final. It's Wembley. It's coming at you this weekend, and we'll get to it in a second. If you know where you've been, smash your subscribe and you want to subscribe for Carabao Cup, Blackburn Rovers, World Football. We're going to all here under one roof. That's right, boys and girls. It's down to the final. It's at Wembley, and we've got two informed teams to take it on right here, right now. Can Liverpool bounce back from the Champions League disaster, or will Newcastle get their hands on glory? We'll take a look at it, all of it in a second. Big shout out to the members, big shout out to the patrons. You know who you are. So sit tight, hold on. We're going to go back now, turn it all the way back to the beginning, when, of course, this Carabao Cup kicked off, to showcase you how we got to this stage. All right, folks, turn the clock back to round one. Now, this was the games. That's right, a lot of standouts here. None of the big boys were in here. It was more championship clubs taking the spotlight, of course, including my beloved Blackburn Rovers, who did beat Stockport County on this one, a bit of a ding-dong classic over at Edgeley Park. Meanwhile, Derby, of course, going through there. Millwall, Leyton Orient with a big win. Watford putting 5 past MK Don. Some standout there. On the other side, of course, Blackpool with a 4-0 win as Rovers putting 6 past them. There was a 7-goal thriller between Shrewsbury and Co. Biggest surprise standing out there? Do you see one? Do you see one? Maybe Fleetwood taking out West Brom. Maybe. Into the second round, some big boys from the Premier League are introduced here. My beloved Blackburn crashed out to Blackpool, a bit of a local affair. Meanwhile, Leicester coming in with a 4-0 win over Tranmere. Everton doing the business as well. Stoke knocking out Borough at a 5-goal Bobby Dazzler over there. Any major surprises? Leyton Orient taking out Millwall. We got Watford taking out Plymouth. Barnsley taking out Sheffield United. That was a bit of a surprise. A couple of Premier League clubs knocked out as well. Bournemouth and Ipswich losing to Wimbledon. Going forward now, the big juggernauts coming into the action. Of course, the Premier League hot shots, the big six. Tottenham squeaking past Coventry, took them a little bit of a bonus time there. Meanwhile, Manchester United 7-0 winners over Barnsley. They looked the real deal at that point. Man City squeaking past Watford, and of course a bit of a ropey-dopey season. And of course, eventual finalist Liverpool with a 5-1 win over fellow Premier League side West Ham United. Also in the final, of course, we got Newcastle. They, of course, navigated their little sticky one against Wimbledon, which of course was abandoned originally for a waterlogged pitch, if your memory serves me correctly. Next up, we go into the last 16. Of course, Arsenal knocking out Preston, Villa crashing out to Crystal Palace, Newcastle taking care of business against Chelsea, Brentford beating Wednesday, Spurs and ousting Man City. We are, of course, Manchester United with a 5-2 win over Leicester. Stoke crashed out to Southampton, and Brighton lost to and Brighton losing to Liverpool in, of course, the final one. Into the quarterfinals we go now, and these were those. Arsenal going past Crystal Palace in the Ian Wright derby. Newcastle, of course, going through to the semis, beating Brentford 3-1. Spurs beating Manchester United in a 7-goal thriller. Liverpool, of course, getting past Southampton to get through to the semi-finals as well. And these were the semis. That's right, Arsenal did lose both legs against Newcastle, and Spurs pick up a home win, or a first leg win, and then lost the second leg to Liverpool. Goodness gracious me. So there we go, folks. We are now at the final. That's right, which will take place over at Wembley this coming Sunday, March the 16th. So let's jump in the deep end and have a look at that then, shall we? Of course, now these two sides have played 61 times since 1993, 37 wins for Liverpool. There's been 11 wins for Newcastle. There's been 13 draws. Liverpool, though, under Arne Slot, coming into us on the back of a defeat. They're on 75% form for them right now. Meanwhile, Newcastle, they've won 3 and they've lost 3 over the last 6. Now, over the history books, of course, Liverpool do have a 6-0 win on the record against Newcastle, scoring 126 goals, picking up a 2.07 goals a game ratio, compared to the Geordies, who only got a 3-0 win on the record, 65 goals scored against Liverpool, and a 1.07 points per match ratio, or goals per match ratio. Meanwhile, they've already played each other twice this season, once at St James's Park. It was a 3-3 thriller. That's what we want, don't we? We want a bit of a thriller. Meanwhile, at Anfield, it was a 2-0 win for Liverpool way back in actually just 26th of Feb. Now, of course, over the last 6, Liverpool have won 5 and only drawn just that 1. And they're coming into this, though, Liverpool, on the back of that 4-1 penalty shootout to PSG, which, of course, could be a bit of an anticlimactic week for them, crashing out to the Champions League, and they could crash out at the first attempt at some silverware. Meanwhile, Newcastle on the back of a 1-0 win over West Ham. Their FA Cup adventure ended a few days ago as well, with Brighton Now, the bookies' odds on this one, the bookies will give it to Liverpool. Of course, they're massively fancied. But for me, I've just seen a glimmer of Newcastle right now. I think there's a bit of a sparkle in there, there's a bit of desperation, and they can definitely win this game. Liverpool, though, coming into this, if they had beaten PSG and made it through to the next round, I would have been much more confident for them. But I do expect goals in this game. I think we're going to have a bit of a thriller, and I do anticipate Arne Slot playing not necessarily a weakened side, but, you know, I expect Allison not to be playing. I think Keller will be starting in between the sticks, which might not be the best call. So, but hey, silverware's on the line. Newcastle are desperate, and they've been good. They've been good. They disposed of Arsenal quite easily. Liverpool, of course, also disposed of Spurs quite easily, and of course do have that psychological edge with a recent track record of beating them 5 of the last 6 matches. But Isak on fire. Newcastle looking the part. I'm going to go and stick my neck out on this one. I think there will be finally a bit of silver, a bit of joy in the northeast of England, in the black and white. Newcastle United finishing off with a bit of silverware and, of course, picking up the EFL Carabao Cup. That's right. So for me, I'm going Newcastle 3-2 winners, Liverpool making it an absolute disaster a week. And that, of course, will complete my Carabao Cup predictions. There is still a prediction league thing, I think, still involved. But I'm absolutely all over the place right here right now. So please check that out if you can. But until then, subscribe. Till then, I'm out.